So I want to talk about reducing ratios, and there's different ways you can do this. The idea of reducing ratios, it's the same thing like with reducing fractions, where you have a fraction that, for example, let's say you have, say, 9/12. Divide top and bottom by 3, and you get 3/4. So 9/12 represents the same quantity as 3/4 does. With ratios, it's exactly the same thing. Suppose we have, say, like 5/15. This is the same as saying 5 to 15. But we could also reduce this get 1/3 or 1 to 3. So we can actually say that 5/15, or as we typically like to say, 5 is to 15 as 1 is to 3. It's a way of saying it. Say something like that. So now again, with reducing these, they don't necessarily always reduce with, well, it depends on what you want to do. There's a little bit more to reducing these than, say, with fractions. Let me show you what. Say you have 35 to 7. Well, we can make this into the fraction 35 over 7, or fraction-like ratio. And we could reduce this, divide top and bottom by 7, and we get 5/1. And what's often done with ratios, with fractions, we would say 5 divided by 1 is 5. But we might just say this, 5 to 1, like that. And so we'd say 35 to 7, or back up a little bit here. 35 is to 7 as 5 is to 1. So we might reduce a ratio like this, go from this to that. And sometimes when you do this, this is going to be similar to like unit rates. So for example, let's say we have a ratio of, let's say, 5 to 3. We could say this is 5/3. Let's make it a unit ratio. So divide top and bottom by 3 only because 3 divided by 3 is 1, like a unit rate. And so we'll get 1 on the bottom, and let's take a look at this. 5 divided by 3. I'm going to call this, I'm going to round this to 1.67. So what I would say would be this, is that 5 to 3 is approximate to, because I had to round, 1.67 to 1. And the point I want to make with this, you can have decimals in your ratios. That's okay. So that's something that's a little different again from fractions. And this is if someone insisted on wanting to have a unit ratio. So that's it. Any questions? Let me know.